Hello folks, and welcome back to Whiskey Wars. My name is Sean, and tonight we will be reviewing a Maker's Mark 46 Cask Strength. Let's get into it. All right, so here's our bottle for today, Maker's Mark 46 Cask Strength. And as I've said before, I think the wood finishing series that Maker's Mark has done is one of the best things they've ever done. I'm not a huge fan of standard makers, but I love basically everything outside of that. So, Maker's Mark 46 Cask Strength. First off, let's do a quick history of Maker's Mark as a company before we get into this wonderful bottle. So, the Samuels family started Maker's Mark way back when, and their goal at the time was to make a whiskey that was of high quality, which was not something that you would think that anybody would do at the time, because at the time, most Americans were not drinking whiskey at all, and they were not going after high dollar spirits in general. They wanted stuff that was cheap, like vodka and gin. Well, the Samuels family decides, forget all that, we're going to make an expensive whiskey. Two things that should have been unpopular. And in fact, their marketing said, it tastes expensive because it is. And that's exactly what they did. They made high quality whiskey, they priced it high, and yet despite against all the odds, they were successful. And because of that, we got to this bottle today, and we're thankful for that. First, let's get this thing open. Nice cork pop there. Oh, even though this is a synthetic cork, I like the synthetic corks in Makers because it makes a good tight seal. So no air leaking into your bottle, which is always good. But let's get into this thing once we get it closed back up and see all about it. Man, I can smell it already. I've been looking forward to this review for a while. I will not hide the fact that I am a fan. So let's see what we got here. I got some decent legs forming. Looking nice and oily. Is that coming through on the camera there? I don't know. Anyway. To the nose, though. Man. That is so good. All right, so cherry, but it's more of a dark cherry than your standard Makers. Really nice caramel note. There's like a rich butterscotch note coming through. There's also like a sugar cookie, nice brown sugars, nice vanilla. There's like this very nice kind of whipping cream note. It's almost like vanilla ice cream that's covered with black cherries and caramel, a little cinnamon in there. Man, and just really rich caramel and butterscotch notes. Just so desserty smelling. It just smells like an ice cream sundae. If there was lots of cinnamon on your ice cream sundae. Nice toasty oaks, nice barrel notes, nice hints of pepper. There's also a little bit of like a raspberry, a little tartar sweetness coming through. Nice kind of like a sweet tobacco. Man, that is just an excellent nose in my opinion. Let's go ahead and get into the sip though. You know, so what I really appreciate about this bottle is the experience that it is. Now, most bottles kind of take you on a journey, but this one, man, you just get so many flavors. So front of the palate, you get that cherry, cinnamon, a little bit of caramel sweetness, and just kind of a general sweetness. Then as it works its way over your tongue, kind of mid-palate, then you start getting more darker notes. You start getting like a milk chocolate. There's kind of a coffee. There's those nice toasty oak notes. There's also like this kind of toffee note going on. There's also kind of a sweet tobacco, then more pepper and cinnamon coming in. Starting to get some darker fruits, maybe like a roasted date, something like that. And there's no real sour notes going on, which I appreciate. I don't like sour notes in bourbon. Some people do more, but there's none of that going on. It tastes very mature. It tastes well aged and just rich, deep flavors. I really appreciate the toffee, the coffee, the chocolate, working with that caramel and brown sugar and the cinnamon and those toasty oak notes. That to me is just, that's one of my favorite kind of go-to palettes. And also there's still that kind of butterscotch thing going on, as well as the caramels and everything else I mentioned. All in all, it's just a great sip. Let's go in for one more though and see what we get on the finish. So right as you swallow, you get this like really burst of this kind of cherry note coming back. There's also maybe a little bit of like a grape note, also like a plum, some darker fruits in there. And then that barrel spice really kicks in again. The black pepper, the cinnamon, the barrel spices, you know, those kind of charred oak notes, the toasty oak notes. And then also there's kind of that coffee note coming back around again as well. I really, really love the finish on this. There's also kind of like a brown sugar mixed in there. And you know, and the finish is, I would say, at least medium. Medium to long, not super long, but certainly it lingers for sure. And just one of my favorite finishes in the price range. And really the whole experience I think is absolutely excellent. So, you know, this bottle is right around $60, maybe $65. That's usually where I see it at. I have seen it as low as $55. And I think at any of those price points, I think it's absolutely a buy. So now let's get into scoring this bottle. So we're just gonna kind of score it at the middle price point, that $60 mark. And at 60 bucks, I think it's just phenomenal. Maybe, hard to say, but maybe my favorite bottle at $60. So because of that, gotta score it pretty high. So at the $60 price point in that bracket range, I think it's well above average. So I'm gonna go an 8.8. I think it's a phenomenal bottle for the price. If you have not tried it, certainly go and pick one up. And folks, I hope you enjoyed the review. Please hit that like button if you did, so YouTube knows you liked the review. And here are some more reviews from us, so you can check those out. And here's the subscribe button. We certainly appreciate that. Until next time, folks, just remember, you can never have too much good whiskey.